Have you ever thought about how one tiny little mistake can just blow up into a total disaster? In those really high-stakes moments, one wrong move, one simple misunderstanding can literally change everything. Today, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful examples of this from all of literature, the tragic story of Cassius and Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, and how a single glance across a chaotic battlefield basically sealed the fate of an entire army. So yeah, that's the big question, right? How can one single misunderstanding completely seal your fate? We're going to unpack that and explore how what we think we see, not what's actually happening, can lead to these, well, irreversible consequences. It's a crazy lesson in how our own minds can shape the world we see, sometimes with devastating results. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so let's set the scene. We're on the battlefield of Philippi. I want you to just imagine the noise, the dust, the absolute confusion. It's what military folks call the fog of war. You've got reports flying in from all over, but nobody, and I mean nobody, has a clear picture of what's really going on. It is the perfect storm for a fatal error, a situation where you have to make life or death decisions with dangerously incomplete information. And the battle itself? It's like a split-screen movie. On one side of the field, Brutus's forces are actually winning. They're absolutely crushing Octavius's army. But from where Cassius is standing, it looks like Antony's troops are closing in for the kill. So you've got these two completely conflicting realities happening at the same time, and that is what sets the stage for disaster. So you've got Cassius watching all of this from a hill. He's trying to make sense of the chaos from a distance. He sends his best friend Titinius to ride down into the thick of it and report back on what's happening with his tents. And this, right here, is the moment where everything goes horribly wrong. Watching from way up on that hill, Cassius sees Titinius get swarmed by soldiers on horseback. And in that split second, his mind just leaps to the worst possible conclusion. He's been captured. It's almost a classic case of confirmation bias, He already fears they're losing, so his brain shows him exactly what he expects to see. But the reality? It was the total opposite. Those weren't enemy troops at all. They were his own victorious soldiers cheering for Titinius. A moment of pure triumph was mistaken for absolute defeat. So, believing he just watched his best friend get taken by the enemy, Cassius is just consumed by despair. He's filled with shame. And just like that, in his mind, the battle is over. All hope is completely gone, and it's all based on that one single flawed observation. This terrible mistake pushes Cassius to make a final, irreversible decision. He believes the only path left for him is what a Roman would call an honorable death, an end that is built from the ground up on a total lie. And it all goes down in 3 quick, tragic steps. First, his hope is just extinguished. Second, he asks his servant, Pindarus, to kill him. And third, and this is a moment of just unbelievable tragic irony, he is killed with the very same sword that was used to assassinate Julius Caesar. The weapon that kicked off this whole civil war now ends the life of one of the guys who started it. And just when you think this story can't get any more heartbreaking, it delivers its final devastating blow. The truth does come out, but it is far, far too late. Literally moments after Cassius is dead, Titinius rides back into the camp. He's not a prisoner. He's a hero, and he's carrying a wreath of victory. The simple, awful truth arrives, and it completely shatters the entire reason for Cassius's final act. The timing is just gut-wrenching. 1. It all boiled down to one single misjudgment. A glance from a hill that started a catastrophic chain reaction. And the fallout from that one mistake? 2 tragic deaths. First Cassius, who died because of a lie, and then Titinius. When he finds his commander's body, he's so overcome with grief that he takes his own life right there, completing this awful domino effect. So you might be asking, why focus so much on this one scene? Well, because it's not just some sad moment. It is the absolute turning point of the entire play. After this, there is no coming back for the conspirators. Their fate is sealed. And a turning point is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's that moment in a story where everything pivots, and from that point on, the ending is pretty much inevitable. Before Cassius died, hey, victory was still on the table. But after, their defeat is all but guaranteed. When you look at it, this one scene perfectly captures all of the play's biggest ideas. You've got fate, right? The bad omens are all coming true. It shines a huge spotlight on the Roman idea of honor, but more than anything, it's a masterclass in the theme of misjudgment and a timeless warning about making life-altering decisions with bad information. And of course, it is the turning point that locks in everyone's destiny. And all of this leaves us with one final question to chew on. Was Cassius just a victim of fate, doomed from the start by prophecies and bad signs? Or was the real killer his own despairing personality, a mind that was so primed to see the worst that it filtered reality through that dark lens? It's a question that makes this tragedy so powerful even all these centuries later.